And a plus 2 light mace as well.
Okay, we're selling the Ring of Animal Friendship, which is 5400. The Paladin's keeping that, and then we're selling the Circuit of Persuasion, which is 25. No, it's 225.
Give me your hammer. Oh, it's just you and me again.
Okay, so that puts the loot sold.
Yeah, and Fonra.
Let's see, that puts the loot sold from that bit to 16k, plus what we got before. There is a ridiculous level of money here. Of course, we're dividing it between 5 people, so
yeah.
We'll go back down in a second.
Give us all the money.
Plus 20381.9. And that puts our total at...
You know, if you want, we can give Aki the boots.
No. Aki does not need boots of flying.
What about the animal friend?
Ready? 36,733 gold pieces, or 7,346 each.
Hooray! Money!
Fauna just basically pushes this huge pile
money
of gold.
that I literally will never spend.
Well, your character might come back, Jake.
Jake, just saying, probably a lot of your stuff is like all the furniture we got.
Yes.
Yeah,
all fucking awesome dragon.
You're basically buying and decking out a house for me.
Yes, that's basically what we've done. We've decked out a house for you, somewhere to stay, while the rest of us are like taking stuff we can actually use in our trips.
You get to live here being like a hero, and you probably never have to work again with this amount of money. So,
yeah,
like
this is like 70 years of income.
Yeah.
For a farmer.
Oh, did anyone add them?
You're no damn farmer.
Or
the Belhaim badass.
The Belhaim badasses. That's a new street
gang. I already did that. It's look on my token. Yeah.
Look at Agi's token.
Belhaim bird.
Yeah.
Everyone, like I saw Fonro's Belhaim Slayer and Theru was Belhaim Hero, so I was like, all right, I'll play along.
The moment the first person called us a Slayer, I immediately added that.
Yeah.
It's like, there we go, title.
But yeah, as far as things,
Aki is Belhaim bird.
Barbarian will give Eledar and Fonra the Ring of the Acid Resistance thing, the Amulet of Mighty Fists, the Transformative Dragonbane thing, and the 2 scrolls that he has, so I will post it in Skype, I guess.
I mean, you don't really...
these are the things that he wouldn't think are useful to him protecting the town, because he still has his other weapon. You know, he's not really going to be slaying dragons.
Some of it's not useful to anyone.
Well, yeah, but then you guys
have the Amulet of Mighty Fists?
Yeah, sure, you can have that.
Emma would love that.
Yeah, you can have the Amulet of Mighty Fists.
What is it? Amulet of Mighty Fists plus what?
Just +1, yeah.
Oh, alright.
Well, his hammer is now slightly sharper teeth.
I never know when you're going to see Alicia again. I'm going to dig her out first.
Yeah, Alicia comes back later as like a level 20.
Yeah. The dwarves really teach well.
You know,
you've gone out and like slain an ancient black dragon.
Oh, it'll come. It'll be there. It'll happen.
Fonra was in the rear shooting guns because it was blocking Fonra from her goal.
Fonra's out there shooting more random people.
You know, my will
Sheriff, the deputy.
My will save will get better by level 20.
Oh yeah, hopefully.
Like my will save will only be going up from here, and it will be much.
I guess we should pad out like this is. Is this the road? Like you're going south. That road. We're going north here, like outside the tavern. Like.
You know, it's kind of cute. I can imagine Eledar and Theru walking and. Aki and I forgot this toucan's name. Socrates just flying happily up above them.
Yep. Swooping around.
Hammer waves with his tail, he's away with a hand.
Oh, still waves.
Fonra for once will actually ride on the back of a hammer. It's gonna be a long.
Be safe, you two.
And same to you. May the light shine upon you.
And may our paths cross again one day.
You will hear Iberian. I'll make sure to send you at least a letter a year. Keep up, you know.
Yeah. I'll write back.
Eledar will say that he will do the same.
I will send a few to you as well, Iberian, but do not reply unless I say to, because I will be traveling a lot.
Do not reply to this.
And besides, it's not like anything interesting is going to happen here anyway.
Who knows?
There's still those worms and wolfmen out there.
That's true. Guess I'll update you on that situation then, if it ever changes.
Friends, please do. Well, this is at least the last time we see each other for, I expect, years, so I hope you're all well, and I hope to see you all again someday.
Eledar bows. It has been truly an honor fighting beside you, my friends. Good luck.
Theru looks happy and jumps. Best luck to you all and good fortune.
And then Eledar will climb into the carriage.
Ooh, carriage.
The carriage is standing in the stable part of the tavern. It is quite luxurious and spacious, being drawn by 4 horses. And
Got your bird.
Oh, it's up there.
And the toucan can also find a space on the carriage.
Great.
The carriage was definitely intended for more than just 2 people. You can basically just lay in there with no problems whatsoever, if you wanted to. Awesome. The driver introduced himself as a Benfred Schonhausen.
That's the most German driver I've ever heard.
A straight-as-a-stick man in a suit with white gloves. He bows deeply, beckons you inside, says, "I see I have passengers. Let us move then, yes?"
Eledar blinks for a second and then says, "Yes, my good man, thank you." And I suppose as the carriage pulls out and sort of creaks down the road, he will one last time sort of, lean out and wave to his friends as they head south.
Well, he's able to just, take a hand, sort of a fist to her chest, and then raise it towards him, sort of give him a slight wave as he then turns and spurs a hammer on to move north along the road. The sun goes down.
Yeah.
As we go away, Fauna fires her gun towards the carriage, not hitting it, but instead releasing a sunshot, giving Eledar basically a large view of her temporary sun.
Alicia jumps.
Eledar recoils for a second and then just shakes his head at the crazy alchemist gunslinger lady.
She likes you.
He leans back into the
most scandalous of relationships.
He basically says that yes, that would be very scandalous indeed.
Does Iberian run along the carriage?
Yeah, do that.
No.
Does his best British boy.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Howling from a hill.
Or like a giant vulture and fly.
Howl from the hill.
Oh, I can do large birds now.
Like this hill.
Small. Which hill?
Like howl from the
Well, they're going south. You could wait up here even.
Right?
Yeah, well, I can certainly outrun.
If you only want to howl for them, but, all right.
No, he'll just wait.
Oh, Fonra. I really hope Theru is going to be able to handle all that man she brought with her. Well, she doesn't have us to help. Let's not go that way.
Oh, that man.
What man?
Well, I mean, Eledar did have 3 ladies with him.
Oh, poor Eledar getting so emasculated all the time.
Trip.
It's going to be a long trip.
Just ran away from the party.
Theru's like, what? There's a man here? I don't know.
And we almost
What is a man?
We almost went to Galt. Imagine how that would have gone.
you take the wrong turn at Albuquerque and end up at Galt. It's like, oh, well.
Maybe Theru has trouble telling the difference.
Viva la Revolution. We're like, oh.
Fauna also
Yeah. Hail the Dwarven King. Like, oh.
also bought a map before we left.
Round.
Yeah.
Come on, Eledar, sing with me. The wheels of the
It's
carriage
going to
go
be
round.
a very long trip.
So we travelled out for a long time. But their story was not over. For in the north were things waiting for them that they did not yet know.
Dun dun dun.
Now we'll go to the player perspective of Alicia and Fauna for the next 5 sessions, and then we'll switch over to the...
Yes, that's going to be it from now on.
One day I'll get to play again.
However, after both sides have had 5 sessions each, we'll then have one session where we look at Iberian's life.
Yeah.
As he like goes and gets some chickens.
It's like a 4-minute session. When first I go to the tavern and drink my sorrows away.
So you have like 2 years of downtime.
You know, maybe Iberian buys the wizard manor. He should totally do that.
I don't know.
Yeah, no thanks.
Biren turns into
It's
a
kind of
wizard.
creepy.
No, but you know.
But he had a house, right? Where did Iberian live?
Well, no, with that money, he could
He lived
build a
with
new.
his parents, and then he moved out south, and now he's back.
Oh, all right, yeah.
With the money, he could build a new house.
Build an awesome house. To bring up the forest.
One that shadows for the parentess's son.
Oh, build a new tower that's
Like
shadows.
right here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like in the morning, it's like a shadow. Just
Build a new tower
It's
there.
a pretty good spot. I like that spot actually.
Yeah. It's just like, ha ha ha, your window
I'm
is
the Dragon
nothing.
Slayer. You can't stop me.
He's watching like straight into
like-
Iberian's like toilet.
It's like I
sees
see
him like
him
going to
come
the
out of
toilet all
house
the time
and
and
he's,
like,
angrily, it's like he's angrily storming out of his house to come like argue with me, so I just turn into a bird and just fly away for some hours.
Iberian always cooks in the kitchen naked, and the kitchen window is like
It's like-
viewable from.
Oh,
Yeah.
like our neighbor.
You
Yeah.
get the moon in the night, and in the morning it stays.
So you travel south
Yes.
in a rather luxurious and fancy carriage that has definitely seen some use before, but is still in very good condition.
Kind of you.
Eledar will, during the journey, activate some of the magic in his armor to turn the armor into like looking normal clothing. So he doesn't. He doesn't look like he's fully armored as he's traveling.
Theru's just wearing her normal clothes when she's not doing the normal clothes being the picture.
Yeah. Like the weird like robes and sashes and stuff.
Well, she has fur and it is pretty warm where she came from, and that's totally normal clothes for her. She'll just lay on the floor and just be, when will we be there?
Are we there yet? No.
It's been like 5 days. It's been
No.
10 minutes.
This will be
God!
10 minutes. Eledar will sit in a trance-like state, trying to block her out for most of the journey.
Throw her a ball of yarn or something like that.
Yeah. He's gonna scratch up this expensive carriage, isn't she?
No,
He's sharpening her claws.
she does have very sharp claws. It's climbing claws, so yeah.
She's hanging upside down in the,
Yeah,
the
she's
ceiling
hanging
in
Just
the
climbing
carriage.
through the carriage,
Yep.
ripping up all the pillows.
Yep.
No, she's just hanging from the roof. It's like, hey, Eledar. Hey, Eledar, look at me.
Yes, I see you. Very clever.
Yeah, but all in all, the trip is not very eventful. Every evening, Benfried hops off his driver's stand, unfolds the tiny staircase, tiny wooden staircase of the carriage, then proceeds to first dig a small hole and then quickly turns said hole into a cooking hole, and assembles an entire small kitchen on the outside and proceeds to make a surprisingly tasty vegetable stew with simple ingredients, but whatever spices he puts in there are just marvelous. And he does that every evening until you eventually arrive at your destination.
Every
But-
evening, Tyr would just sit next to him and stare at the food.
The biggest eyes.
Yeah. Oh my god. When is it done?
But meanwhile, somewhere else, with different people.
Traveling north.
Eledar, this is totally our bonding experience.
It's totally as a bonding experience, yes.
We are so gonna party in this.
Eledar just sitting there meditating the entire time, Tyr being
it's-
incredibly bored, not even willing to talk.
Party!
It's gonna talk and be friendly, sure.
Gonna learn all the prayers.
Yeah,
Or
well,
you
sh-
can see-
he imagined he's gonna have to answer a lot of awkward
Have
questions.
you ever
from
heard
her.
about
Have you ever subscribed to the
I
penis
can't-
envy
I can't
catalog?
get away.
How do you look nude? Can I take a look? She like pulls off his armor.
Who asked who that? What? Did Eledar ask to do that?
Apparently there is a bird sitting at the table.
It's not weird.
Meanwhile, in a small dockside tavern called the Sleeping Beggar in Casimir.
How long has it been?
Peculiar group of people. It has. What do you mean?
Since
how
we
long has it
arrived.
been?
How long have we been in Casimir, basically?
Just a day or two. You've
God.
basically just freshly arrived, and this is the closest tavern you've seen at the time. And it has turned out to be okay. The food is edible, the ale is drinkable. Probably not the most exciting place to be at, but it's a place.
Right. So I guess we describe.
Sure.
Well, sitting, sort of leaned back on the chair, feet on the table, is a green-haired gnome, a pair of goggles strapped to his face, clad in some sort of a copper-colored, thick plate armor, shining very brightly, not inconspicuous at all. As he sits here, he seems a little bit jittery, sort of looking around still, sort of like it's just, as he looks at the others. Against his side is sort of leaned a long, narrow spear from where a banner hangs. Yeah, and there's sort of on the banner, there is a sun, sort of peeking over a horizon, shining sort of in streams of gold. In front of him sits on a little pile of chairs a very, very large bird. Seemingly, he did not really take no for an answer when bringing it in here. It is also a very sort of sharp crimson red color and has a very, very fancy sash on it.
Then next to him, sitting in the next chair, is a half elf who wears kind of like the clothes that you would see in Cheliax, even though you're clearly not in Cheliax in this particular scene. But so he's got like the. God, I'm mixing up all my words here. Jeez. He's also wearing a very shiny breastplate, but he's got dark hair and dark eyes and lots of laugh lines and smiles and things on his face. He's not particularly well muscled, but he's got a wise look to his eyes. Like he kind of sees into the inner workings of things and understands exactly how they tick. So.
Besides the two of them, is a blue-haired elf. Very young looking, even if you would compare like for human appearance, it's still very, very young looking. He's not dressed in much. A series of like long black robes and a long black cloak. There is a whitish silver engravings down the majority of the cloak and around the hood. As well as his blue hair, there are distinctive bright blue eye, though the other eye is covered by bandage. There's also a blue rune tattooed to the forehead and a large blue sash around the belt. Not carrying too much, sitting there currently reading a book. What the book is on, unless you actually are quite skilled, you're not really sure on the topic.
Yeah, the tavern at the current time is filled with mostly drunk sailors, throwing the occasional dirty look towards you, but they don't directly seem to bother you.
Might it be because of the huge monster bird sitting at the table glaring at people?
That might be one of the many reasons, yes. The barkeep is the kind of person who would rather not really have you in his tavern, but you're paying, so I guess he tolerates you just barely. But yeah.
Then we'll look at the others and says, it seems laying low has worked. I don't think anyone has asked for us.
I don't think we're really in an issue where someone might end up asking for us. At least not for a while.
He sort of looks to to Jeirax and says, well, I suppose it's safe to wear them openly now then. Looks around and says, besides, this place is pretty boring. I'm tired of laying low now. We've been here for days.
It's
yeah, I need to get out and do something again.
It's been like a day and a half.
And says, yeah.
But,
shakes his head. Flips the page.
Jeirax, kind of... He looks around, I guess, and then reaches into his sack and pulls out two small pearls, which he then kind of clips onto his ears like they're earrings.
Still got those?
He says, yeah, I feel nervous about pulling them out, but I don't know if there's anything that can really happen here.
Friend Striker says, regardless if it did, I'm sure it would be a new and interesting experience for all. Yeah, gives a
interesting experience.
Gives a wink to one of the sailors who look over.
They frown back angrily.
No, he's not afraid of them.
One of them is clearly trying to motivate his comrades to go talk to you face to face. They are both trying to get the other one to basically initiate the tavern brawl that is about to ensue.
Oh, I feel bad for these guys.
But they definitely hesitate.
Yeah, Rutheran is not really into tavern brawls as such. Not really his thing.
Yeah.
Talathel was paying them like partial attention, like, you know, keeping like an ear open on their conversation, being a little bit nosy in that respect, but mainly just flicking through the very large dusty book.
Regardless, I suppose we should decide where we want to go next. I don't really think there are any more leads in the journal. I've been looking it through, and all he had was on that damn thing.
No, there was some minor other things in here, but nothing conclusive to work with.
Well, I haven't got any ideas. I'm just kind of listen out for something, I suppose.
To Jeirax, we could go back to Chiliax.
Spent too much time there.
Yeah,
There's always work there, though. I mean,
there is always work there, though. Work can be found anywhere if you just have a look around.
As you say that, a woman enters the tavern. Short, with blonde hair, soft green eyes, wearing a blue blouse, pants, and high heels. As she looks around the tavern quickly, spots you, seems to smile for just a second, and then moves towards you.
They are slightly distinctive.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's certainly hard to miss us.
She says, I finally managed to track you down. You are quite
Rutheran sort of turns quickly,
immediately gets
at
an
her.
incredibly nervous look on his face.
You know, grabs the lance, looking at it.
She frowns for a second.
Calm down.
You may have tracked us down, but that does not mean we surrender. He says as he stands up on his chair.
Rutheran, calm down.
This is like you'll never take me alive, Copper.
Yep.
I fear there's been a misunderstanding. I do know of your previous endeavors, but I'm not here to make you surrender. No. Quite the opposite, I think.
Calm down, Rutheran. I doubt this person is a threat to you anyway. Calm down.
Well, I would disagree with that, but that's not the point, I think. I am Leandra Vestrum, secretary to Farkel Eisenberg of the Eisenberg Consortium. And you might be interested in what he wants to offer to you. He is currently... Sorry?
What do I know of this consortium?
You can make a knowledge local check if you want. Sure, you know quite a bit hearing that name. In fact, Casimir's biggest shipyard is owned by the Eisenberg Consortium, as well as many, many other businesses, not only in Casimir, but really in half of Golarion. The name Farkel Eisenberg is often connected with one of the richest dwarfs in all of Golarion. He is quite the secretive dwarf, not really talking to the public much, but there are many people who deal with him and like to deal with him, as he tends to make other people rather rich.
Alright, well, you may continue.
Yandro says, my employer is currently trying to recruit a rather exclusive collection of people. And you are among the potential candidates, if you are interested, of course. I'm not here to...
Sorry? This is for another one of his secret projects, I assume.
One could say so, but it is slightly different. He tends to hire more reliable people usually, but this is quite the different situation. I'm not here to explain the details, I'm afraid. That is up to my employer. I am merely here to offer you the chance of an interview, if you're so interested.
May I ask,
job will be...
Sorry? May I ask, did he choose us by name?
She smiles. That he did, yes.
Fascinating. He's fascinating. He's quite famous all over Glorian. Why he chooses us out of the hundreds out there is fascinating.
Oh, his reasons are surely as mysterious as he is, but I can say that you have managed to impress part of him, at least.
Says, we'll take it, he says, reaching out a hand. It sounds interesting enough. Looks to the others.
Yep. I mean, Jeirax is fine with that.
All this mystery, I get curious.
Talathel looks to his coin purse. Well, I do need the funds for my research.
I can assure you, your job, whatever it will be revealed soon. If you're interested, if you accept, it will be well paid. And I do believe in your area of expertise as well.
I see. Have you been doing some revisions on our areas of expertise then?
She smiles. Doesn't really answer the question. Well, I did not expect this to go so easily. But if you are interested, the interview will happen rather soon. I do believe in 3 days at noon in his manor east of Casimir. It should be rather hard to miss if you simply follow the main road. It is simply the biggest building you can find along that road.
It shouldn't be an issue. Casimir is a city I'm quite familiar with.
It is on the outskirts, but if you simply talk to the guards in the city, they will definitely be able to show you the way. Very well then, if you have no other questions, I do still have other business I need to attend to. I am rather pleased that this went over so quickly, I have to say.
I mean, your employer's name does carry much weight. I mean, I cannot think of many who are richer than him.
Oh, weight he carries indeed, yes. It is quite the honor to work for him, I
Was that a fat joke?
Maybe.
Within Snickers.
I bid you a good day.
Good day then. As she
my mouse button's not working.
Turns around and stomps outside.
Well, we needed work. There we go. That problem is solved.
Which is quite mysterious. I'm rather curious as to what it entails.
I knew your curiosity would get the better of you. Regardless, this should be entertaining.
And
hopefully a little more lucrative than our last movement.
Our employer is one of the richest dwarves in all of Glorian. He has businesses up and down most continents. He himself, he'd be probably one of the people who could pay best for our services out of everyone.
What's that nonsense? It would be best though if we don't get if we at least have some places on Galarian we can still go to. This whole thing about regions being no visiting zones, I don't know how long I can last. Grins.
I have a feeling back to those places, isn't it?
I have a feeling
exactly.
we won't have another instant like that for a while. Don't worry. Anyway, I'll go get some more drinks.
So I'll go take a look at this city. 3 days is a long time.
Guess I'll just sit back and relax then.
Yes, Talathel will order a lovely glass of wine if possible, and whatever Jeirax's favoured drink is.
I don't know, gin probably.
The barkeep frowns at you and hands you two mugs of ale.
Not quite what I asked, but that would do, I guess. Give him the money. Well, let's look at what the house has got.
Better than nothing.
Do you think we should move that stack of chairs back? Looks over.
Eventually they'll be back and we'll have to move them back in again.
Possibly.
Best keep them.
Oh well. In the meantime, I've still got plenty of research left to do. I might go use the local library for a few days actually. Casimir's a big city after all.
It's true.
I'll be back here this evening.
Alright.
The interview will be in 3 days, during which time you can do whatever the hell you want, really.
Sheep?
Yes?
I do this.
Sure. You look around the city, drink away the days, investigate the local libraries, and eventually, near a rather big mansion, a carriage arrives, carrying 2 more peculiar people. The carriage creaks to a halt, Benny hopping out again, unfolding the wooden staircase of the carriage, which makes exiting it rather simple, really, and rather convenient. The trip has been a couple days. It's hard to tell how long exactly it was. The days kind of blurring together in the boredom. The most exciting event was probably the sighting of a man on a horse, likely a bandit, but upon spotting the carriage, he seemed to retreat rather quickly. Benny just remarking that those bandits have run into the carriage on the way here, and, well, they will not bother this particular carriage for quite a while now, he thinks.
Where is Belhaim? Is it also in Andoran?
Belhaim is in Teldor, about 200 miles north of Casimir.
Does Eledar have any more apples left?
No, not at this point.
Aww.
Does the driver have any apples?
Hey, look.
Tyr has been eating all the apples all the time.
We're gonna die.
He's like rolling on the floor, we're gonna die! There are no apples!
Yeah, the carriage unfortunately does not carry apples as supplies, mostly just dried meat and easy to preserve vegetables.
We're definitely gonna die. Down to die.
There. I'm sure there will be a lot of apples where we're going.
Anyway, what kind of question is that? What do you look like when you're naked? Well, what do you look like when you're naked?
What did you ask? He sort of looks... I thought we were talking about apples.
Until just remembered Eledar asking, what do you look like when you're naked?
No,
She was like, well, what do you
me.
look like when you're naked?
That was me joking. That is something that she could have said.
Oh, she could have said.
Yeah, but eventually the carriage arrives at a rather large mansion. You have taken a road that has not led you through Casimir, just past it, to the east of it. And as the carriage stops, the doors opened, the staircase unfolded, and Benny, or Benfried, rather, bows towards you and says, "We have been taking more time than anticipated. I believe we are late. It would be best if you hurry."
Tyr basically jumps out the door the second it opens. And just... Let's go. Oh my god, I missed you.
Oh my god, we're gonna die!
Apples!
What map are we?
Eledar, we're out!
Yeah. One of the guards patrolling the compound eventually catches Theru and leads her towards one of the entrances, to one of the many entrances to the mansion. Not the main entrance, just the side entrance.
But apples
And eventually, you find yourself in a room.
Eledar, you won't let me get apples.
In a room, you say?
A familiar-looking guard sits on one side.
Every time I see those guards, I get nervous.
Yeah, we have a history with those guys.
Eledar didn't get any apples. Oh my god! She just eyes with
The
apples.
room is rather simple, just two not quite as comfortable as they could be looking benches. But there's a table with refreshments, wine and water, as well as one with snacks and light meals, including apples.
Theru looks at the guard and just eyes the apples. Is he looking at Theru?
The guard is just looking at you in general, not entirely sure what to think, but he's just there to make sure that you have what you need. He makes it rather clear that he's not here to guard you, he is here to make sure that everything goes well.
Theru takes an apple and looks at the guard.
he's gonna like charge for her.
But she doesn't know.
No apple eating. Those are decorative
Stop!
effects.
You have broken the law.
Well, that is true. she accidentally picked up the bowl.
Yeah, really kinda.
God damn it.
Well, the guard just looks at you and says, "Please eat as much as you like, that's what it's there for."
Well, Theru just munches on apples then and shares with Aki.
Eledar will pick up some like string of jerky or something and eat that. Sort of, he will go over here, sit down, sort of throw one leg over the other, and just rest his huge elven curve blade like against the wall next to him. And he will look over to the guard and say, "Are we to wait long?"
I do not believe so. You were supposed to talk to the master some hours ago, but since your carriage only just arrived and the other 3 people have not arrived yet either, it might still be some minutes. I do not think the wait will be too long.
Not.
It depends on those other people.
Absent-mindedly scratches Socrates on the head.
Theru basically runs to Eledar and goes, "Look what I made! It's bunny apples!" And there's a picture in the chat if you want to see how they're made.
Eledar looks at them, smiles a little bit, nods and says, "Yes, they are very nice, Theru, very
What?
nice."
You want one?
Yes,
And
please.
eventually,
He will,
3 other peculiar people enter the room.
He will share the apple with Socrates.
You come from here.
Oh.
Led into this room by yet another guard, gesturing you inside, telling you to eat as much of the snacks as you want.
Is this like a hospital waiting room? Just like...
It is rather simplistic, which is a surprise considering that the manor itself is something that even the most pompous noble would consider adequate.
When Theru sees the elf, she whispers to Eledar, "Look, cousins!"
Talathel appears, looks to the Drow.
The Drow looks back.
Blinks.
You see the Drow sort of sitting up a bit straighter.
Eating a bunny
I
apple.
am positively oozing malice toward you.
Talathel takes a split second to think, and then in Undercommon, begins speaking towards you. Drow, what are you doing here? Your people abandoned Sovereign and went to the darkness ages ago.
Eledar frowns at him and slowly starts to get up. He spreads his hand and says, "Sun-kissed kin, I am not here in any ill intent. I am called here, as I imagine are you." He sort of bows towards him. "I know it might be hard to believe, but I am actually quite not so representative of my kind." He, if you would allow me, he does a little like thing with his hands, and you see his armor transforms from normal clothes to his paladin gear, and you see like the Sarenrae and sunburst.
What language are you speaking in?
Right now it's undercommon, but as
yeah, I have no idea what you're saying. Basically, you're just going Satan, 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 and then your armor changes.
Yep. But as it does, he will
eating
switch.
bunny apples.
He will switch over to common and says, "My friends, my name is Eledar Duran. I am a Paladin of Sarenrae. Well met."
And you stand before the group, the party of the Everdawn. Just stand here, raising a banner with the rising sun shining with the golden sunbursts. It has come from the south, the west, and the north. We have gathered here to do whatever is required of us, so that good, freedom, and light may spread its wings across the land. So this is Sarenrae, and all of your kind. That is curious.
Eledar smiles and nods and says, "I have been told that many a times. Yes."
Talathel's looking at Eledar with, like, the one eye just staring, giving this very, very, very perceptive gaze, looking you up and down and clearly trying to judge you.
Oh, Eledar is used to it.
And sort of cracks his armor, sort of shiningly, thick copper plate, basically. He steps. There's all sort of weird gears and stuff on it. And he sort of steps a little closer and says, "And who is this?"
And Theru stands eating bunny apples. Says, "I'm his wife," and she punched to Eledar.
Eledar, starting to speak, grunts and keeps quiet.
Very well done, then. Quite exotic, I must say. I don't think I have seen one of your kind before, or ever heard a story.
Catfolk, I mean Kyan, correct?
She goes, "Yeah."
Looks over his
bunny apple.
Sort of
She had
to the
shows.
side.
She offers a bunny apple.
So, most curious, then. Are you the people we're supposed to meet? None of you look particularly dwarven, although looks can be deceiving. Looks to Eledar.
Eledar frowns for a second, then smiles and laughs and says, "I have been called many things, but never dwarf."
Regardless, you are speaking to Rutheran the Skycomer, known for many a thing. I'm sure you've heard of me. He waves his hand. Says, "This here is Jeirax of Chiliax, and the good sir down there is Talathel, our traveling sage."
Jeirax kind of looks over at him and says, "Have you been paying attention? I'm from Andoran."
He just sort of grins and says, "Don't tell them that at the first meeting."
Theru just stares at him eating bunny apples and offers
Yes.
bunny apples.
You will see Eledar closing his eyes for a second. He will concentrate. Is any of these people evil?
Not quite.
I'm not.
The guards are not evil.
Talathel does not register as evil.
Okay, then.
Arky, however.
Arky is a different story.
Transforms into a demon spewing.
Look at him. He has something planned. Look at that thing.
But yes,
I
if we're going to fully introduce ourselves, then yes, as my friend said, I am Talathel Cryas Drownora, the blue sage from the Twilight Academy. As said, I am a traveling scholar.
Of quite the merit.
Theru goes, "Okay, if we are going to introduce ourselves, I'm Theru Haitaka. And I'm not his wife, I just said that, because it's funny."
I must say, in all my travels, it's very rare to even hear about the Catfolk.
I like to travel. The jungle is not a nice place to be in. They're not
No, I
many
did
apples.
travel through a jungle once. There was plenty of fresh food, but it was quite dangerous.
I bet it wasn't the one I was in.
No, I went through the Morangi Expanse.
Oh, that place is cool.
Eledar will look to Jeirax and say, So, what are your qualifications? We have a Skycomer and a Traveling Sage. And sort of motions towards Jeirax and
I
you,
guess
so?
if you had to generalize me, you'd put me under freedom fighters, those who fight for the liberation and against tyranny.
I think I understand. Some sort of guerrilla tactician, then.
Indeed. If you had to...
he has wisdom beyond his age. I wouldn't know this.
If it helps to understand, I am under the protection and I worship Desna, the goddess of freedom and luck.
Eledar brightens quite a bit at this, and he will step forward then and say, "Then, my friend, we seems to be brothers in arms." He will reach out a gloved, plated hand towards him.
Jeirax will take the hand, and even though he's not very strong looking, he has a firm grip, and he shakes your hand well. And in doing so, he will actually impart to you. Basically, I'm going to use my luck blessing, and you feel luckier just from having touched me.
Well, that's surely something. Eledar will smile and say, "It is always nice to meet a representative of the Song of the Spheres. I must say I have not done so in quite many a year. An old friend of mine, once dead now, sadly, but he did several favors for me, and he worshipped Desna as well."
It's always good when there are others of the faith.
Oh.
You're breaking up.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh God, no! Internet, please.
Yes. You were saying?
I said it's always good when there are others of the faith out there.
Yes.
Tyranny is widespread, and any who fight it are friends of mine.
He also said, "Then indeed it seems we are in good company." Sort of, shakes his hand. Let's go of his hand and says, "There are food on the table over there if you care to partake."
Sure.
You see bunny apples being made.
All of the bunny apples.
But I guess as you glance him over, you see... I forgot to describe this basically when I was describing my character. You see he's got 2 kukris hanging from his belt.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just tossing that out there. No room for Eledar at the table!
Eledar will sit down again, crosses legs again, absent-mindedly pet Socrates. Eat a bunny apple with him.
Eledar will still get the occasional curious glare from Talathel, but though not as searching as before.
Takes some bread and puts on every type of topping, and then eats it like that.
After a couple of minutes, a very familiar woman at this point enters the room, smiling brightly, saying, "Ah, I see, you've finally all arrived, and you've already not killed each other. That is a good start, I think."
I think we may have got close at one point, but we've all done our introductions. We all know who each other is, the basics at least.
Good. Then let us not wait. Let us not make my employer wait, shall we? We are already far later than it should be.
We apologise. Yes. We needed to go on a a shopping trip for him.
Eledar gets up, takes his Elven Curve blade from the wall, slings it over his shoulder. Socrates hops onto his other shoulder, and then he says, "Very well, lead on then."
She beckons you into this room. A rather large room with a marble floor and...
That is the largest room ever!
And very fancy decoration, including 2 chandeliers hanging from the enormous ceiling. The eastern and western walls are both lined with large bookshelves full of different colored books. And the northern wall is one huge window looking out into the garden beyond.
Talathel will freeze as he comes out, looks to the bookcases, tries to get an estimate on how many books there are.
There are probably a lot. More than you could probably read in quite a few years.
Right, Talafel's a quick reader, but...
Some thick tomes, but quickly looking through it, they are probably not the most rare of books. Some of which are rather common, some of which have to be in every library to be considered a library.
Nothing rare for my collection.
Yeah, nothing overly rare. Leandro gestures you to the 5 chairs in front of a rather stocky, short-looking dwarf. Even for a dwarf, his age is showing, as well as the lines of probably a lot of thinking and worrying, as he hardly notices you. But as you sit down, he looks up, frowns at you, his penetrating gaze staying on each of you for a couple seconds as he nods. Well then, I see that most of you have accepted my invitation. It is a shame that not all of the Belheim Slayers were able to come, but I suppose I'll take what I can get.
Eledar smiles and says, the dragon was a large price for some of our party. They wanted to bring it home as quickly as possible. Family issues, you understand.
He nods.
The
fight was probably quite the harrowing experience as well.
Eledar winks at him.
Yeah, sure.
The dwarf hesitates for a moment, looking down on his desk full of papers. So he looks back to you. Pretend for a moment that you're sitting in a room just like this one, talking to a man just like me. He greets you, introduces himself just as I have done, and then he launches into a speech, explaining things about his organization, about his company, extolling the great things it has done, and playing down whatever rumors you might have heard. He makes his intentions clear rather quickly. He wants to hire you. For what, he doesn't quite say. He does, however, tell you a number. Your pay. A number high enough to make your jaw drop. However, he does impose one condition. That you do whatever he tells you to do, with no questions asked and no hesitation. What would you say to this hypothetical man, as he looks at you intently?
Eledar frowns and says, I would say no to this man. My soul cannot be bought for all the stars in the sky. My good Sir Dwarf, you need to tell me what I am to do for you before I can agree to do so.
Questions breed knowledge. Knowledge breeds power. And with power becomes what you need to succeed at any jobs you give. On top of that, some things you may offer may be outside what we're willing to do. Though your reputation does precede you, Sir Dwarf.
Theru just looks at the dwarf still eating apples and goes, nope.
Rutheran shrugs. I'm sure it'll be interesting.
He does frown at that answer, as he looks to the last member, Jeirax.
I'd like to know what we're going to do first, but like Rutheran said, I'm sure it'll be interesting.
Yeah, the dwarf frowns a bit, once more takes a look at each of you, says, that man is not me, let me assure you, but a different topic. What do you know of Coral the Conqueror?
What do I know of Coral the Conqueror?
Make a knowledge history
religion.
Check.
Nope. Okay.
A history check. I will quickly pull out my notebook, look down at it for a second.
I do actually know quite a bit of him as a player, because...
I know.
Yes, I will pull out my notebook, look down at it for a second, look back up. That's a 29.
Yeah, you would know that he was a warlord in Brevoy, who, among his many allies, also had a couple dragons. As Farkin continues, Coral the Conqueror had two red dragon allies in his wars, Nephiston, and Refakor. They were paid with massive amounts of gold that kept their loyalty. He also holds the record for the shortest city siege in recorded history, the Siege of Winterbreak. It is said to have only been 30 minutes. The defenders simply threw down their arms immediately after spotting the enormous shapes appear. Probably for the best. But that is not why I'm bringing him up. Some years later, Nephiston, one of the Red Dragons, frantically demanded his pay for the next 2 years from Coral, and, after not having been given it immediately, proceeded to burn down half a city before flying away. Neither he nor Refakor were ever spotted again. He pauses, waiting for the story to sink in as he continues. The village of Nos Haven in Endoran. Have you heard of that?
Have I?
You can roll a history check.
God damn it, why not geography?
My skills!
I will look down at my notebook for a +2 bonus on this. Buddy, Theru.
Yeah, you have heard of it, but before you can answer and prove your knowledge, he continues. It's a peculiar place. Every year at the same time at noon, the poor town would get attacked by a young green dragon, demanding tribute and destroying the odd house or two. The town, instead of trying to fight back, negotiated a reasonable tribute, as well as building fake houses for the dragon to destroy. There haven't been any casualties since the agreement, and in fact it has become quite the spectacle that has attracted many people to the town. The attacks have stopped a few years ago, much to the dismay of the town. The search party sent to the beast's lair said it had found nothing. That the dragon had most likely simply left. But the fact that every single member of it suddenly acquired a large sum of money suggests that they did in fact find something, and that the dragon did not simply leave. He pauses. Sighs. Continues.
No.
Yeah?
Theru looks, I'm sure I would find it boring to do that all the time. You know, go get tribute, destroy an empty house, and then that's it.
A dragon, my lady, does not leave without its possessions.
He got bags, doesn't he?
He looks at another paper of his, putting one that he has obviously been reading from to the side, and continues. And then there's, of course, the story of the so-called least secure bank in all of Golarion, over here in Casimir. It's a joke, of course. While it did lack many of its precautions other banks used, it had one main difference. Its owner tended to live in the vault. The bronze dragon Chorvok simply disappeared about a decade ago. Nobody had seen him leave the vault, though. Pauses again. Pulls out another paper. Pauses. I believe at this point you might see a pattern in what I'm telling you here.
Indeed.
But I can keep going.
It seems to me then that you have put... well, you are keeping tabs on different dragons around the continent, and you are telling us that they are disappearing without a trace.
He nods.
You know,
I can keep going.
You know,
Yeah, sorry?
dragons are magical beings. I could imagine, since, you know, they can fly and they really just do their thing, that they won't be that easy to keep a tab on.
He smiles slightly. I have my methods of keeping track. Besides, these incidents have not been recently. Some of these incidents lie centuries back. There are more cases. Hifa Chu, the guardian of the monastery of Shangli in Detang Ma, went missing 2 centuries ago. The leader of the Order of the Silver Shield supposedly passed away from old age, peacefully in a sleep. Unlikely, since it was hardly a secret that he was in fact a silver dragon. There are many, many more cases, but there's no point retelling them all. they all have one thing in common. A dragon disappearing and its possessions being left behind with no trace whatsoever.
Which is highly unusual. Dragons value one, especially the chromatic ones, generally value one thing, their personal hoard, more than anything else.
He nods. What is the obvious question then, I ask you?
Well, to where have they gone?
And what caused them to leave?
He smiles slightly. Not quite what I was going for. The obvious question is, why should we care? He looks at you.
Well, if we can predict when the next one leaves, grins, that would be a reason to care.
He frowns. Yes, and take all of his possessions before anyone else can get to it. I assume that is what you're aiming at, right? Again, not quite what I was going for here.
Then I'm sure you are to tell us why we should care.
These cases cannot be a coincidence. They are too similar, even though they are sometimes centuries apart. I believe something is causing this, which of course might seem obvious, but if something has the power to make the great worms disappear, then I would rather like to know what its intentions are and its methods. If it is a threat to just dragonkind or everyone. He pauses again, looking at you, waiting for the comment to sink in.
Eledar frowns and says, I cannot say for certain. But me and Theru here were quite recently part of a group that slew a dragon masquerading as a famous black worm known as a Jeirax up in Belheim.
The green one was called Tinky, what? Right?
It was called Sengi.
Singy. No. Oh yeah, Singy.
Yes, when the dragon seemingly experimenting with powers beyond this realm, he had set up portals around an old monastery he inhabited. These portals were acted as windows into this other far realm. When we defeated him and closed the portals, one of them tried to suck him in, trying to claim him, as it were. The dragon turned frantic, begged us for mercy, and screamed to us not to let whatever was on the other side of that portal take him. We killed them before that and cut off his tail. Whatever was in the portal only got the tail, so to speak.
I was satisfied with just the tail.
He leans back in his chair. It squeaks under the weight of the full plate he's wearing. I do not know if that is has anything to do with this, but your assistant seemed to think so.
Yeah. The dwarf nods. Yes, she did indeed. And what you told me confirms her suspicions. Although it is not immediately obvious that this had anything to do with the other cases, of course.
The disappearing of the dragon was certainly our doing.
Yes, I will not say that you didn't have a large hand in making him disappear, as it were. I'm pretty sure the town, what is called, Belheim, was rather grateful for that.
He nods. Yes, quite, actually.
Well, it is a long shot, but all the cases have one thing in common, and it is that they do not leave behind anything that could be pursued in any way. No magical residue, no signs of struggle apart from minor disturbances. I have to say, Corvox was a good friend of mine. He often gave me larger loans than he probably would have to any other person, which helped my company quite a bit in certain tight situations. I have talked to him a lot. His disappearance 2 decades ago was rather surprising, which prompted my investigation in other disappearances, and what I found was rather worrying, to say the least. Pauses. There are many people that work for me. Workers, advisors, merchants, secretaries, as he smiles towards Leandra. Thugs, spies, of course. I will not keep those secret, of course.
Your reputation is far beyond you. You are known throughout all of Glorian as one of the richest dwarves with a hand in almost everything.
He nods. Yes, and I will not disagree with some of the rumors about my ruthless methods, although I will have to say that I never intentionally caused harm to anyone. I did, in fact, help many families get out of slums. I made some people rather rich. But I am not here to make you believe that I am a good person. No.
Eledar smiles, and we are not here to pass judgment upon you, Sir Dwarf. We are here to listen to your proposal.
Frowns. Perhaps you should, but no matter. The scholars I've talked to even refuse to acknowledge that there's any connection to any higher entity or that there's any intention behind this disappearance. They are simply saying that dragonkind has always been magical, whimsical, and impossible to understand. And while I would agree with parts of what they're saying, what if it is not a coincidence? What if something is doing these things? What if it is only part of a larger plan? I, in my long career, have learned to spot and exploit patterns in many things, and this is something that worries me.
What you're asking is basically if what these two saw happen to the other dragon had been happening to all of them, as a rip in reality would not leave much magical residue beyond them that would last longer than a minute.
Nods.
Theru looks to the dwarf and asks, so do you think that whatever these portals do, it's something they've agreed on with a price of something? I don't know what dragons would want, more gold. So do you think it's some kind of bargain they made with someone? And I don't know, when the service is over, they get sucked into these portals?
That is not entirely unlikely. A good theory. But
there are many possible ways, one of which you were saying about higher power doesn't necessarily have to be higher. Just a being or possibly more strength than they have, but not what you could call higher power.
Whatever is causing this is not simply doing bargains and collecting the price when the time comes. I know that at least Korvox is not a dragon who strikes deals easily. He would not have made such a mistake. And some of the other dragons that have disappeared are unlikely to have agreed to anything like this.
Well, maybe it's really a deal they can't refuse.
Or maybe this thing is actually targeting the dragons, possibly luring them into traps, possibly using other methods, but in some way getting them in a position where they can just remove them from reality as it stands.
Well, the green dragon knew of the portal and knew what was coming.
As I said, a possible trap. It's only a theory, of course. I don't know the details of this, but the idea is possibly the creature used that as a trap to get to the dragon. Or maybe I'm completely on the wrong tangent. We'll find out.
I would certainly like to find out what is going on. The problem is, as you've so rightfully remarked, there are few leads in any of these cases. Unless our two remaining Belheim Slayers here have a specific lead, then even I have to admit that I'm not entirely sure where I would begin. The reason why I have collected the 5 of you here is not to immediately send you chasing some small clue, because I don't even have any small clue. It is to have a group ready to respond should such an occurrence come again. As I've said, I employ many people, but they either lack the brains, the initiative, the motivation, or they simply are not capable of doing much good in this case. This was, in fact, my daughter's idea, as he smiles towards Leandra, that perhaps I need to contact other kinds of people, that they might get the results I want, that they might get the results we all need to find out whatever this thing or this phenomenon is doing.
Theru quickly raises her paw in the air like she thought of something, she was just like basically struck by a lightning. So, the wizard in Belheim did some weird stuff. He kept summoning beings from different planes and asking them weird questions that none of them could answer. He was the beginning that led to all this with the green dragon. And the green dragon and the wizard had this deal about this book that the dragon wanted. But the wizard tricked him, and which hence the whole problem with the green dragon started. But the wizard was definitely looking for something too. He imprisoned all these beings in his cellar. None of them knew why.
He nods at your suggestion, says, whatever that green dragon wanted, I wanted too. But I don't think that it will be necessary to send out the 5 of you. It's hardly your area of responsibility to collect a few books. I will have Leandra investigate said wizard. What I need you for is a different task, a sort of response unit. I believe that by being close enough to whatever happened to the green dragon, Leandra may be able to track down the next occurrence. As soon as it happens, that is, in which case, whatever people I will have to send will have to act quickly. The thing is, these occurrences have been happening decades apart at times, centuries apart. It is likely that if you accept to my offer, that you will simply be paid to be available and not much more. It is hardly the excitement you have been looking for, perhaps, but the pattern does indicate that things are accelerating. It may be mere months until something happens, it may be another century.
Accelerating it by what factors?
Oh, a minute amount, but enough to be noticeable. The cases I've listed and presented towards you are just the ones I found most remarkable. There are dozens others, and they do seem to get quicker. I do not expect anything to happen within the next months, considering that merely a few days ago the last case potentially happened. But it would help me sleep better if you were to accept to work for me in this case.
Well, it really depends on, for me at least, I bet for Eledar too, that we do have our freedom to say no if you order us to do stuff that we simply do not agree on.
I will not order you to do anything you do not agree on. You have my promise on that. I need you to be, well, a coherent unit, fast-acting, fast-thinking. You all have your own area of expertise. Trackers, sages, engineers, inventors, do-gooders all around. I have to admit that your particular group was, again, my daughter's idea. I think she put it as a group of daredevils with just a touch of common sense.